Hello and welcome to the Blue Collar Bible Guy podcast. As always, my name's Mike and I'm the Blue Collar Bible Guy. So continuing on, we're on day 68 and we're reading through Judges chapter 7 through 10. So we got 4 chapters to cover briefly here to keep us motivated reading through the Bible every day in 2026. So before we get started, if this podcast has been helping you to stay in the Word, take a minute and share it with somebody. Send it to a coworker, send it to somebody in church, invite someone to jump into the Bible with you. Read it with a friend. And that's how we're going to grow this, one person at a time. So let's go ahead and jump into it and see where this takes us. Judges 7 starts with Gideon and an army of 32,000 men. But God doesn't do what's expected here. He reduces the army, not once, but twice, until only 300 men remain. Why would he do that? Well, Judges 7:2, we read, "And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, Mine own hand hath saved me." So here God intentionally weakens the army so the victory can't be explained by human strength. Then comes the battle in verses 20 and 21, where we read, "And the 3 companies blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hands. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp. And all the host ran, and cried, and fled." Here, God causes confusion in the enemy camp, and the Midianites defeat themselves. See, this is a powerful reminder for us. Victory comes from God, not from numbers, not from strength, not from strategy. Don't get worried or intimidated if you feel like the world is overpowering you, if you feel like maybe your church is small and weak. That's not where victory comes from. It comes from God and trusting in Him. Jumping up to Judges 8, we see the danger after victory. After the victory, Gideon handles some situations well, but then something shifts. The people want to make him king, and he refuses, which sounds good. In verse 23 of chapter 8 says, "And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, the Lord shall rule over you." And that's the right answer. But then Gideon makes a huge mistake. He collects gold and creates an ephod, something that becomes an object of false worship. And then verse 27, it says, "And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and all Israel went thither a-whoring after it." Even after a great victory, Gideon leads the people into something that becomes a spiritual trap. And this is important. A strong start doesn't guarantee a strong finish. And you're going to see that throughout your life as a follower of Christ. You're going to meet people that start out strong, seem to be on fire for the Lord, but then they get sucked into the world or something distracts them and they fizzle out and they become irrelevant for the cause of Christ. Maybe they weren't really saved. I don't know. That's not for me to say. But something happens and the enthusiasm we have at the beginning of our faith can fade and lead us into a victoryless life for Christ. And we want to remember that. Just because you're going well right now doesn't mean you're not going to have struggles in the future. And when you have those struggles in the future, turn back to God and let Him bring you out of the struggles. Judges chapter 9, we see Abimelech's destructive leadership. Here, after Gideon's death, his son Abimelech takes power in a brutal way. He kills his own brothers just to make himself king. In verse number 9, it says, "And he went into his father's house and slew his brethren and sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons." See, this chapter shows what happens when leadership is driven by ambition instead of calling. That's the same in the ministry. If a preacher or a pastor is led by ambition rather than his calling into pastoral ministry, you're going to see things done in an improper way. You're going to see control issues within a church. And that's for anybody who wants to serve the Lord. We've got to remove ambition and stick with calling. and focus on the things of God and what he would want, and enter into it as a pure servant. Abimelech's rule brings chaos, violence, and destruction. Eventually he dies in a humiliating way, struck by a millstone thrown by a woman. And it's a clear picture. Self-serving leadership always leads to damage. So don't be self-serving. Attempt to serve others, to follow Christ in his serving of other people. And Judges 10, the cycle continues. Israel falls back into sin again. They begin worshiping false gods. And in verse number 6 we read, "And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Balaam." So we see the cycle continues. Sin leading to oppression, leading to crying out, leading to deliverance. But this time God's response is a little different at first. In verses 13 and 14 we read, "Ye have forsaken me, and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen." That's strong. That's a strong response by God. God's exposing their pattern of only turning to him when things go wrong. How's your prayer life? When do you turn to God? Do you only think about God when things are going wrong and you're begging for somebody to pull you out? Or do you focus on God even in the good times and give thanks for those good times and recognize his power in your life? That's not what the people were doing. They were only turning to God when things go wrong. But eventually, the people do truly repent and God shows mercy again. So what does that mean for us? Just blue-collar people out there doing hard jobs that a lot of people don't want to do. These chapters show us several powerful truths. First, God doesn't need our strength to accomplish his will. And victory can become dangerous if it leads to pride. And leadership without character leads to destruction. And finally, spiritual drift happens quickly when we stop pursuing God consistently. Do you live a life in constant pursuit of God? Or do we get focused in our own pursuits? I know I do. I know I get focused in my own pursuits, in paying the bills, doing what it takes to put food on the table. And those are all great things to be doing, but we can do those things with a focus on pursuing God and having peace with God in everything that we do. So here's the strong truth for today. Some of the most dangerous moments in life come after success. When things are going well, that's when pride can creep in, and that's when discipline can slip. That's when people start relying on themselves instead of on God. Gideon won the battle, but didn't fully guard his legacy. So, our challenge here on day 68 is to ask yourself this question: am I relying more on my own strength right now, or on God? And the second question, am I finishing as strong as I started? Don't just focus on winning battles. Focus on staying faithful after victory. Staying faithful for the long haul. Being an example for your kids and co-workers, no matter what the situation or the circumstances are in your life. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in here on day 68 of the Blue Collar Bible Guy podcast. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. And if you have any comments, email me at bluecollarbibleguy@gmail.com. And always stay in the Word, stay faithful, and remember, small obedience done daily builds a strong faith over time. And I will see you again for day number 69.